So that's kind of cool because now I get to see something I didn't know I was going to see. So fantastic.
All right.
No, that'll work. Just make sure you press the button.
Like 5 years ago, when I first started writing Workbench Explorer, I had to do it on a Windows machine and FTP the source code over to my Amiga machine to compile it. It drove me nuts. Only reason was a lack of a good text editor. So I started my own back in March. I had no clue how to write one, no clue what the inner core consisted of, so I had to scour Google for weeks to find example code. I found one I liked, stole part of it out of there. I stole a part from the MUI Gadget class, how to highlight, drag and drop. I had no clue how to do that. Different from Windows, of course, and Linux. Had to piecemeal the memory pool. Had to figure that out. It's different from Workbench Explorer. The problem I'm having now is mine is multi-file editing. The first one was only a single file editor, so find and replace wouldn't go to the next file automatically. I had to figure out myself. Now it's been hard. It's a little tricky, so I kind of like Jamie's. List of files over here that are open, list of functions, and the basics, of course. But my main thing is when I'm editing source code, like Workbench Explorer has 160 source code files to it. Well, you can't have 160 tabs open on top of your window. It's impossible. You can do the drop-down box. It gets long too, like you have. It's still pretty long. So what I've done, I want to open a bunch of files to say do a global change and replace. Just open everything. Put them in the list bar on the side.
Yep.
It's a lot faster loading than CodeBench does because you're not waiting for that 10-second delay, load the dictionary, load everything else. It just loads the files and goes.
So how many files is that loading right now?
About 145-ish. So it's pretty quick, and does the function list over here, you know, to like have your jump to the functions like Jamie wants to do next.
Yep.
Just quick up and down, you can change files with the cursor key, holding control. Full text highlighting, syntax highlighting. So I added my own functions to it, like int32, int64, int8, bool. They're Amiga specific, you know, str, ptr, object. As of right now, the toolbar is not done up here. It just, I have a Mason doing all the images for me. Haven't heard back from him yet, but no hurry. I'm still months and months away from being done. So, other than that, it's a basic text editor, except that it's meant for programmers. I'm going to add a ton of keyboard shortcuts that my favorite Windows editor has. I'm going to bring all that over. I'm going to do projects. I keep mine pretty simple in the projects because, like, loading that 145 files still took 10 seconds. A lot faster than CodeBench does, but I don't need them all open at one time. So I'm thinking about creating a project, give it a name, list all the files in it, but say only load these 5 I need every day, and go back and pick the rest later on, or load the rest. Kind of speed things up a little bit. More optimized. There'll be a ruler here eventually. I'm looking at that right now. So, kind of the main things is like the find. You know, it didn't know how to go to the next file. F3 for next. Had to figure it out, how to figure out, okay, where did I start at so I don't loop back around and just keep going in an infinite loop. That was kind of hard and tricky. It's not perfect yet, but it's working. for like replace, that's where it have issues. Let's give it a different name. So, haven't done. I want to make it so that window stays in the front, and you can pick and choose, go to the next one. With Amiga, there is no way to force a window in front of another window and have it stay there, like you can on Windows. Not the proper way, yeah. Right. It blocks everything. Mm-hmm. You can't have that window in front and be typing in this window at the same time.
That's why I went with a separate bar area.
I debated about that too. Yeah, it's like I wanted, it's
It's also going to go in the side too.
But I have more options here. Case sensitive, case expressions, mine as you type. A little more options that would kind of look weird down there, but I might have to do something like that to make it more functional.
So when did you start working on this?
Middle of March.
Wow.
Moved along pretty quick. And,
This is a text gadget you built?
it's not a gadget. It's a text editor.
No, I mean, but the gadget in the center where the text field is.
Yes.
Body text.
Well, I've taken 3 different programs and made one.
But you didn't implement it as a Boopsy object.
No.
It's just programmatic.
Because it never was that way originally.
Right.
And
So this-
I've been asked for that. Huh?
Which program?
Oh, God.
Just something you
It's
got.
the most obscure Linux one I could find. It was, it's on the tip of my tongue. It was on like page 35 of Google searches. I found it. It's a basic little one window editor, no frills, but it had just the core that I needed to figure out how to. I didn't a clue how to do a text editor. You do it in blocks. Well, you can do whatever you want, but they had blocks of 28 characters, not a line of 10,000 like you do with a single line. It's like, that is weird. And I had to really look at it for weeks and figure out what they was doing. And then sometimes it's still a little like, what are you doing there? I can't figure that one out. And so I had to undo some things, add some things in, make it mine. I had to look at the MUI class, how to do the drag and drop highlighting. I had no clue how to do that in a text editor. And so it's a piecemeal. It's not like 100% mine originally, but it's going to be. I've pretty much rewritten the entire thing completely from the ground up. It's took an idea from Annotate, took an idea from Edit Plus, what I use on my Windows machine all the time. That's my main. I'm copying that Edit Plus program essentially. Pretty much the same menus, same keyboard shortcuts. Probably add a way you can change the keyboard shortcuts to your own way, but I may or may not. The options was kind of there, but it's like, if you get into that, you're gonna get pretty finicky on who wants what and how they want it done, and if you just don't give them the option to change it, sometimes that's better, I think. And this here is a closed gadget. It does show a little flag if you change text. So it's pretty simple. I wanted this to look as clean as possible, but still hold as max amount of files you can. Because if you throw in the rest of the header files, there's another 10 more files, so you're at 150 files open. There's no way you could hide those or a list of tabs across the top or anything, and be able to track them back down with any amount of sense. And at least these are in somewhat order. You can rearrange them the way you load it, I guess. But to jump into the function, I never really liked that back in the day. Now I love it.
Yeah.
It's so quick and easy. I have one. I didn't bring my source code for this. I didn't even think about copying it to the flash drive. But one of my modules has like 40 real small functions in it. They're all, start. It's like the main kickoff file, if you want to call it that. And it's like send here to go to copy, paste. Each one just has a few lines that goes to a bigger module in its own place. That got pretty hectic over here, having 40, 50 function names there. So I added a sort button. At least if you know the name, you can find it faster that way. So I searching through the list of 40 items, like not sure where it's at. On here, maybe a good example. Like that. All similar names. Kind of a bad example. If you sort them, you know, you can unsort them back to the original way. At least if you can find them alphabetically, you can find it faster sometimes than you can in the logical order in the file. Now it's back to the way it is in the file. If you change something, it's not going to refresh it. If you change files, it refreshes the stuff automatically, but I haven't built in the function yet to keep this up to date as you're typing, or what line you're on to automatically highlight over here where you're at. I may not. It's just, I want it to be as quick as possible and snappy as possible, so I don't want to slow it down with what line am I on, you know. I don't really care per se. I'm more into the speed aspect of editing. I want to fire it up and go. I don't want to load a dictionary and a 10-second delay and all this other stuff. So for me, it's doing its job. Let's see, when did I start it? Yeah, March 23rd. So it will have a full toolbar on top here with all the typical text editor buttons. This one will be user buttons. This one will be like an HTML toolbar buttons, you know, bold, italic, image, anchor, the typical stuff you'd find. Hopefully they'll get those images back here soon, get this working. You can print from this. Haven't done that yet, I don't have a printer for it. Typical things, you know, go to line 200, jumps down to it. I want to add the line that Jamie's has, is highlight the current line you're on so you can kind of see the cursor a little bit as easier. Haven't done that yet, but I know how to do it, just got to put it in there. I want to add probably another 15 more keyboard shortcuts. This one will probably be there all the time. Maybe hide it, like shrink it down like Jamie does on SDK browser and such. These you can turn off and on. They're just there right now. Just haven't done the prefs yet to have the option to turn them off yet. All in all, it's just hopefully be a fast text editor. It'll have all the features that I want. No context menus yet, but they'll be fully in there. I want to do the quick. How's your mouse highlighting? I had this problem before. My main machine highlights just fine. My cordless mouse won't register. Not yours isn't either.
It's like it's not tracking the left mouse button being.
Yeah, but it's moving the cursor with it though. That's,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not registering it as holding enough or something. My cordless mouse does that too.
So you got,
But my corded mouse has no problem. So either something quirk is there from the original or from the MUI way it does it.
What if you click outside the text gadget and back in again?
It's not a text gadget though.
Yeah, I mean,
Right. It's not an object.
a little bit.
Well, this is just a space gadget,
your focus is
and I'm drawing the text over it. Yeah. There's no real there it goes, see? That's weird. I want to do the typical block comment that, line comment that, uncomment it. More indent, less indent, which I already have that, you know, increase indent. I love that now too. I didn't ever catch on to that before, and I was like, I saw it and like, wow, how did I miss that one before? That's easy and great.
One that I'm doing on there is that when you select all of that and hit your indent, it'll actually format.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
so
Man.
it corrects the stuff for you. I got used to that.
Yeah.
Cute editor, that's really good. The other
That's a good
thing is
idea. You
I'm
brought it up
doing-
earlier.
I've got the pull down list for the open files on mine too as an alternative. And one of the things I'm looking at for the search, like if you're doing a search for all the files, so you got all these files open, you can have it filter the list so that when you're actively
But then how do you undo that list?
Oh, you just drop the filter.
You have to close your search bar or erase it or whatever.
Erase it
Okay.
or whatever.
Okay.
So when you escape out of it and
All right.
just go back or.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna do it as it's gonna maintain it in a separate list and it'll just switch to search results. Pull down, so it's actually in a separate list.
All right.
It'll just pop back to the
Okay.
one. So technically it's not filtering it out, but
Right.
like with the SDK browser, if you search for contents and then you search in search results and then you see it, take the ones out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite, this is gonna do the same thing, it's gonna separate lists,
All right.
but really that's, the left side list is kinda like the only real mechanism to track
Right.
multiple entries
Yep.
and stuff, so.
Yep. So as of right now, it's half done maybe. So still got a ways to go, but hopefully I can now just write on my Amiga as it should have been originally, and not have to use two computers, FTP it over, compile it. Oh, there's an error. Go back over here, change it, FTP back over, compile it. It is so tedious. It's slow. So hopefully I'm getting to a point here soon where I can actually use this program to edit the program. Just save it, close it, compile it, run it. It's almost there, but there's a couple little quirks there that are just wait a little bit longer first, and by something you've experienced, like it's gonna crash too easy. So it's no point. Really, that's about it. That's just my new project, and want to get it done as soon as I can, and so I can start using it. Be a huge time saver for me. So
Absolutely.
there's an air export started. Not much in there yet, of course, since it's in works, but probably talk to your program just as easy as anybody else's, and wouldn't mind talking to you about it. And
Sure, I can use the AREX hooks to
Yeah.
toss, lookups into the SDK browser.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that by the command line right now, but I think the AREX is open. I have to check. That'd be more efficient, though, I think.
Yeah.
So 'cause
Things like that,
You can run it off on the command line. It'll not launch another instance. It'll actually relay it and say go with this stuff.
Okay.
But I've got internal messaging is quicker. But
Yeah. I probably want to do the extras you're going to do with the function lookup and such, and the tag lookup. That's nice, but sometimes you don't need it. You just
Well, that's
want to hack away and go. It's
one
like,
of the reasons why I want to leave everything as an open components with AVDs, so it's like you can use whatever pieces of it you want, even it's not, you're not tied to using them.
yeah. Make sure you can turn it off too if you don't want it.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
So like.
It's like in Code Bench, it's kind of nice, but it pops the window up. Like, I don't need it right now. Just you're in the way.
Yeah.
So as right now, I have C, PHP, Python, HTML, something else in there for syntax highlighting. I'll probably add a few more here down the road just for the sake of it.
Are you doing
Amiga
the
E.
highlighting on the fly? So
Yeah.
if you type new ones, it'll
Yep.
highlight?
Yep. So like if you're there, a while, turn blue. So. Yep.
It's the little things,
It is, yeah.
a lot.
And I've gone in and added all the Amiga specific tags, and function names, and like N32, N64, text, object. So it's like right here, object. That was never in there for anybody else's C highlighter, So I'm gonna make that file simpler down the road too. So if you want to add your own things or change the colors easier, I might just make it. You go into the prefs editor, you have it broken down, your reserved words, your operators, your whatever, pick a color. They all do that. Or you might be able to go in and change each one specifically. I don't know. It's not that hard to do, so could be both ways, but I'll probably more or less do it all the same, just to make it easy and less things to screw up. But other than that, that's pretty much about it so far. It's not too far along, but far enough that I can use it, and hopefully have more here to be pretty close to done by come Amy West and can show off more. the inner workings and have the replace not go in an infinite loop. I had it one day, I changed something else and it broke it, and I haven't got it back yet. So those small little things that you have to add in yourself that were never there originally and never accounted for it. So. Do you have a question, Paul? Or? Oh, okay. Okay, you're trying to get my attention. Okay. So do you have any questions for what I can show you, I guess?
Is this MUI?
No, reaction.
Very pleased.
I don't like MUI. Yeah. They have more complete and advanced classes, but I just never really liked it. So even back in OS3 days, I never got into it.
The overhead.
So you just built
Yeah.
this like with no underlying gadget that you started from? You just so basically.
So I essentially started with an empty window and threw in a space gadget and how to draw. I had no clue how to draw. Cut it off and width and height, and had to look at the original one and I sat there and just looked at it. I'd go over to the MUI class, look at it, and it's like getting cross-eyed for a while, and I slowly figured it out, and okay, that's not that bad, and the hardest part is figuring out the block system of why they did that. Now it makes sense, because if you have a line that's 32,000 characters long, you don't want every line to be allocated that much memory. You'd be out of memory in no time. So you're doing little blocks, and it goes to the next block and next block. They're not in order. They're just in order of a list. It's like, oh, that makes sense now. But to undo that back into text took me almost a week to figure out how to get this line, just say, back into a printable single line of text that I could work with. And it's like, I could not figure that out for the life of me until one day it just clicked. Got it. So.
It looks nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna add more here. Hopefully, these will be open. This probably will never be open, really. But there's also, where did I put it?
I was going to ask you, you're going to allow those panes to be
Yeah,
dropped
hidden.
out of the
Yep.
way so you can-
There's also, open the window and do it that way. This will never be here. Probably normally everyday use. This will be, and this will be. But.
So is this the new thing now? All developers are creating their own business?
Well, we had to, because all we had was
There's
Notepad.
nothing.
Yeah, because there's nothing to start from. So.
Right. I mean, Notepad's a joke. It's not meant for
Best
that. It's just a
editors of the
quick
day
edit, but
are like
Code Bench is
Sigma
fine,
said,
but man, it takes forever to boot up.
Yeah, no, you can't, and you can't get anywhere near modern parsing and assistance and everything with a code editor using,
Right.
the old stuff.
Right. They never even thought about
There's
that.
nothing, and there's no Gadget class to build off of except for Rich Editor. That's the closest one, and I'm gonna replace that entirely pretty soon because it just doesn't. I can't.
Right. You can't do much with it.
I can't do everything I need.
And as a gadget class alone, you can't do that much with it either, because you want the freedom of, I have full control over this no matter
You've got the
what.
complete
and-
core.
Right.
Complex or not, you've got that.
Right.
To work with.
It's not a gadget where I have to talk to it, I control it. So I like that aspect of it more than a gadget class. And
One of the things I really want to tap into is the hardware accelerated pattern matching engine.
yeah.
To use regular expression engine, find all of these keywords and like that.
Yep.
Because you can just dump your old buffer through it and it'll chew through 5,000
Yeah.
matches a second.
This already is pretty fast, It's
Yeah.
I can fly through it, and just hold down the F3 key. So
Now, how much of the individual files here are you holding in memory? All of it?
all of it.
Oh.
That's why I'm only doing what you want loaded. That's it.
Yeah.
If you want to do a project with 187 files, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm debating on, say, put them all in there and just put a checkbox, say load me at startup, but don't load the rest of the 160, or just put the 5 files in there every day, use every day, and just load those 5. And
On a project basis, you could put a counter on how often you go into a file in the last week
Right.
recently, or most popularly hit
Right.
10 or 15 or 20.
Yep.
Or you could even then have it so you could right click over one of them and say, add this one to the popular.
That's what I'm gonna do,
Knocks
yeah.
out
Yep.
the next one at
Something like
the
that,
bottom of the
yeah.
list.
I have an object system that tracks all the files, so I can list all of them, whether they're loaded or not.
Okay.
And then as you get to them, it loads them as needed.
Right.
But if you're actively editing them, it has to keep.
Mm-hmm. Them open.
So if you have a list, if you got, 150 files there, but there's no changes on any of them right now, then I can dump all the buffers for all 149.
Right.
But if you make any modifications, you start editing them, then it does it. Part of that is necessity because I'm working with the rich editor Gadget, and I've got to hand it the buffer. As one instance of the Gadget, I'm handing it the buffer, and then taking the buffer and storing it and handing it the next one.
Right.
It's always an exchange.
Mhm.
There's no other mechanism.
Yeah, with here, it's
to do it.
not doing that,
I don't
so.
own the buffer.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, I do.
maintain it. And once once it's completely my class, that may change.
Mhm.
Or it will change because I don't like the concept of like having to hold the memory.
Right.
Because with the rich editor class, if you had like a 1 gig file you were trying to load, it'd take 2 gigs to do it, just for a fraction, because you got to load it all up into buffer, then it copies it off, and once it's complete, then you can throw away the other one. So for that instance, it takes twice as much memory to load that file.
And probably even more for your syntax highlighting,
overhead.
and the syntax
Yeah.
highlighting, and, yep.
And I don't like that.
Yeah. Syntax highlighting actually adds a lot to the code and
Yeah.
the buffer, it's, I didn't realize how much there was in there to.
Is it tracking tags then for the, around the individual text elements for the highlighting? Or is it just painted, what it's supposed to be on panels?
I believe it's just painting it, but this seems pretty quick, and
Yeah.
when I compare it to that code bench, just page down, this is much faster, crisper.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed if I just had a long one here, just say, and I was flying through this there, I will see some colors get lost every once in a while. So I think it's just pretty much just painting it as it's.
Yeah.
But it's also, watching on the fly here, because if I, lost it, so it knows, and it added it back, so it's watching it,
Right.
but it's, when it's redrawing it, I think it's dumbing it down, whatever you want to say, to make it a little bit snappier.
But that core engine, that's part of the piece that you glued in there from.
I took the
It's like
blank on the name still. Yeah, that's how he did it, because it's an old program. I bet it's from right around 2000. Maybe even older, I don't know. It was not very big. It had the very bare bones, just like I said, one window. That's all it was meant for. Let's see if I can get it to do here.
Are you gonna?
If you watch
track
it.
Collapsible sections?
Yeah, I'm going to. Not sure how I'm going to do it yet. Let's see if it lost any there. Not really. So that one didn't lose any there that I could see. So, yeah, I'm going to do cold folding and bookmarks, set a tag, jump to this bookmark. And I've learned to love this over here. I never really used it before, so now I do, and I love it. So I want that to expand a little more, maybe do some context menus over that. I saw one editor, right-clicked over this, copy the list of all the names and paste them into your editor. That's kind of a good idea, just never thought about that. So.
Yeah, I've seen other assistant stuff, like for your, say you're writing in C and you start creating your header file and you create the prototypes for the functions, and then you can just right-click on it and say generate the stuff, so it corresponding C file, and it just creates all of the stuff for you.
Yep,
And then
not to that point yet.
automatically change it too,
Yeah.
so if you alter the prototype, and it alters the
Right.
code, alters the actual function.
That'd be nice down the road, but yeah, it's still a ways away. But yeah,
Well, it's a
I
little
think
bit.
CodeBench does that. I think. Yeah.
Does it? I can't get CodeBench to run for more than 2 minutes, so.
Yeah, I have no problem with it anymore. So I ran into. I started with this one. I used that to make my Makefile with it, and there was some garbage characters in one of the header files, and it made it crash. It would no reason why. It's like, okay, I was trying to load a header file. Why is that crashing? I had to go back and comment all the whole thing out and just block by block uncomment till I found which line it was, and it was just some random weird comment. Had some weird characters in it that it didn't like, and that's all it was. But
That's a sign of a bad parser.
yeah,
Should never fold if on
especially being in a
something
comment, it
that's
should be ignored anyway. So.
Very cool.
And that's it for now. So.
Yeah.
I like
There
it.
you go.
One step closer to that word processor.
That's quite down the road.
Yeah, a whole different.
Yeah, that's. You figure this one out first. You figure this one out first.
Bucket of nonsense to figure out, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good, actually.
Thank you. So hopefully it turns out nice. So got a long way to go, but
Yeah.
Amy West, it'll be a lot more
It's
finished and polished.
It's
And
already usable.
Yeah, you've made it.
right, I'm
good.
almost getting to the point where I can just
3
use it
months.
to edit itself.
Yeah.
Almost there. Just a few more things I want to work out. It's some quirks that I don't trust yet. So I don't want to lose any code by accident or.
Not only is it usable, it's already functional.
Right, it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
that's, you made some pretty headway in 3 months, I'd say.
Yeah,
Pretty
of course I
impressive.
didn't have to write everything, but I did steal from 2 different programs. I'm honest with that. So I never would have figured it out. Never would have figured it out.
Inspired.
Yeah, they were open source, so it's like, just. I have to get that one guy's name again. There's a weird acronym for, I think it's his name, but
You have to put credit in.
yeah, I'll do something. Yeah, I'll do something in there. 'Cause
And then-
inspired by whatever.
Yeah.
I just can't think of his name. It's a real acronym or something. I don't know. But anybody use Vim?
Vim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like it?
No.
Okay, good.
It depends on what you grew up in, right?
Yeah.
If you're editing multiple Unix systems,
Yeah.
a console-based editor,
You mean if you grew up before the mouse existed?
Right.
not even necessarily, but could be.
If you can type.
I never got what's so cool about Vim, but then the new
Thing is, you-
version for the MUI Vim, it's pretty decent, but
There's a lot of
lacking a
cases
lot of
with-
stuff still.
If you're trying to take in like hack config files with Unix,
yeah.
you can't do that. When you just didn't have a desktop environment
Right.
working on a headless system. So when it comes to a command line, just text interface, for a tool, then Vi or Vim, improved Vi,
Right.
is definitely a good tool to use. But that's the environment.
Mhm.
If you have a desktop and everything, then you can do so
That's
much
fine,
more.
right.
Better, but when you don't,
Yep.
I'd rather have Vi or Vim than
Yeah.
the whole single command line, have to retype everything, so it's not even inline editing with one line. I remember that.
I don't, but yeah.
But you can't. They're headless.
Yep.
Well, the most common thing to do is
Yeah, just-
just up on network share and edit it on your client. Just get the file,
Alright.
SSH it through.
Yeah, I'm done. So. Oh, okay. Just wanted to ask that last question. So.
But I still
you
use
shut it
it
off, right?
from,
No. Oh, okay.
whenever I need to hack a quick config.